Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Business Podcast, your source for all things business. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres. Keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, today I have Lina Stillman on the line, and she's an attorney over at Stillman Legal. Lina, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Adam, for having me.
All right, so excited to get into today's topic. So we're going to talk about the rights of undocumented workers in the workplace. But before we do that, tell us a little bit more about what you're doing over at Stillman Legal, please.
Well, Stillman Legal is an employment law firm. We're a boutique employment law firm here in New York, and we are exclusive and exclusively we do plaintiff's work only. That means we don't do any work on behalf of companies. We don't do management side employment law. We are the law firm for the working people.
And that's why I wanted you on the show for this topic. So let's just dive right in. So the rights of undocumented workers in the workplace. I mean, where do you want to start with this topic? It's a big topic.
It's a big topic, Adam. I mean, a lot of people have this misconception that undocumented folks don't have a right to sue. And as a result, about a good amount of them don't come forward to talk about what's happened to them at work. And that is incorrect. It's incorrect because federal law, specifically the Fair Labor Standards Act, the FLSA, protects them. It protects anybody who has worked. And Adam, I just want to point out here that we're talking about hours worked. We're not talking about future wages. We're talking about folks who have worked and have not been paid their correct, what's owed to them under the law. And New York law obviously also protects them. So undocumented workers have the same rights as a U.S. citizen or a permanent resident.
So what typically happens in these cases? I mean, just walk us through like what this looks like, just because I think this is a big education piece too for people that are listening.
Well, as we know, however you feel politically about undocumented folks working in the United States, it's a fact that we have them. There's a lot of them working. And what tends to happen, Adam, is that a lot of employers take advantage of that, of the fact that these folks don't have, legal authorization to work here. So instead of paying them a wage in New York City, for example, right now we have a minimum Fed of $15 an hour. It's different in every state, but we're just going to talk about New York City right now, $15 an hour. So what ends up happening, in the hospitality industry is a big industry that, it's an industry that hires undocumented workers, construction workers, housekeepers. All of those individuals are working for a salary, right? And they get hired and the employer would say, yeah, I'm going to pay you, $600 a week. That's great, but then they make them work, 72 hours per week, 12 hours a day, 6-7 days a week. And so they don't get paid the rate that they're supposed to. After 40 hours, you're supposed to get paid. If you're making $15 an hour, you're supposed to get paid $22.50 for every hour worked after 40, and that rarely happens. And what's happened is that these guys are very afraid to come forward because they're afraid that that there's going to be immigration issues. They're afraid that there's going to be retaliation, and when they do come forward, what my firm does is we're able to sue on their behalf, and we're able to, to recoup what has been, stolen from them. It's basically, it's wage theft. We have an act in New York City for that called a Wage Theft Act, and we're able to recoup overtime as well as other things that we other causes of action. For example, we have, we can get them liquidated damages and get them. I'm not going to go over everything that we sue for, but it's mostly overtime wages. And a lot of them don't even get paid a minimum wage. A lot of them, if you look at the salary and the hours that they work, are only getting paid $8, $9, $10 an hour, when in the reality they're supposed to be paid $15 an hour and $22.50 after working 40 hours. So the lawsuits are, they're pretty straightforward. We typically sue in federal court, and the cases get settled very quickly because the employer has to have records, has to have, the amount of money that they were paid, schedules, and also we find that employers don't really keep that kind of information. So it's really just a matter of, having these workers come forward and say, you know what, I don't think I'm getting paid what I'm supposed to be paid. What can I do about it? And so that's kind of, the meat and potatoes of what my firm does is we help undocumented workers recoup stolen wages.
Wow, I'll just be upfront. So I didn't even know this happened. So when you're telling me this, it just kind of blows my mind. It's like, wow. So, and just to make sure I understand correctly, and obviously, so some employers maybe they're having their staff work a little bit longer than they're supposed to be, and underpaying them solely because they kind of know they almost have that card, if you will, that they that they're not going to go to court, they're not going to sue, they're not going to complain. And so what's happening is they're just kind of being taken advantage of. Am I off on that, or am I missing something?
No, you're right on the money, Adam, as usual. And I feel like more needs to be done to sort of balance the scales, right? Employers have a lot of, they have the upper hand when it comes to these workers, and they know that these individuals come here to work. That's why they come here. They come here to work because, they couldn't find work in their, in their home country. So they don't know. They come here not knowing anything. They don't, a lot of my clients never even knew what the minimum wage was. They don't really know what overtime is. They don't really know that they're not supposed to be paid a salary. So it's an epidemic, and it's, and it's actually, as you and I speak in this time, it's actually getting worse, not better.
Have you, and I guess here, this would be my, just taking the other side of things, after, like, let's say after somebody's hired you, after they recoup their wages, I guess the big thing there would be, like, just like your relationship with the employer after. Have you found that it's still, like, because I guess by law, it's not like they can fire the person, like, that'd be illegal, right? Like, they won the case, and because they were wrong on wages, and now they can't just, like, fire them, right? Because that's just where my head goes.
Yeah, no, there's definitely anti-retaliation provisions built into everything we do. So it is illegal for them to retaliate. If they file a lawsuit, they can't retaliate by firing them. We usually go to the National Labor Board, the NLRB, and file a complaint there for retaliation. So is it uncomfortable for the individual to stay and work for somebody that they've sued? It is, but we've done it in many cases, and in a lot of situations, the relationship has gotten better, not worse, believe it or not. But having said that, New York is an at-will employee, is an at-will state where you can fire anybody for any reason and cause, as long as it's not illegal, discriminatory, or unlawful. They can get fired for any reason. However, after the person has filed a complaint in federal court, they are said to have engaged in protected concerted activity. That means that it's protected. You cannot touch this person who just either blew the whistle on you or is filing a complaint for wages. So that is illegal. It's there. Like I said, there is a provision there for for retaliation.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, Lina, that being said, if somebody's listening to this and they want to learn more about your practice, Stillman Legal, what's the best way for them to reach out and to connect?
Well, we're everywhere on social media. The best place is, go to our website, www.fight4yourrights, that's Fight for You Are Rights in Spanish. We are also, everyone here speaks Spanish. We can be found at 1-800-933-5620. And, if it's a Spanish-speaking person, the website is luchaportusderechos.com. Fight for Your Rights, same thing.
Fantastic. Well, Lina, really appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing more about all the great work that you're doing over at your firm. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, leave me a review on the Apple iTunes Store. And if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, Mission Matters Business, definitely give us a subscribe there, but also leave us some comments in the comment section. Love to know what kind of projects and things that you're working on. And Lina, thanks again for coming on the show.
Thank you, Adam.